for making exponential graphs and just any kind of graphs for Algebra 2. So right now I'm at the Desmos website. You can just type in www.desmos.com and click on Graphing Calculator, and it takes you to this. A lot of you, if you were here last quarter, used this quite a bit. And then you can click on this plus sign, gives you different options, or there's like a default place here where you can type your expression. So you can either type y or f of x, and then you type whatever your equation is going to be. Like if it was going to be a linear equation, maybe it would be y equals 3x plus 8, and it'll graph it for you. That's a linear model, a linear function. Last quarter we did a lot of quadratics, like maybe 2x squared plus 7. Now I just typed that on my graph, on my keyboard. And for the squared button, I just used the Shift 6 key, which gives you that little caret, that little up arrow thing. You can also, though, get more specific tools if you click on that keyboard here. And then you could even type everything here if you wanted. Y equals, here's my x. Let's do x squared plus 5x. I'm very slow on this, but it's certainly possible. And then you can see that quadratic function. You can zoom in and out. I'm just using the buttons on my mouse to do that. You can also zoom in and out with these buttons. Sometimes you might want to change the scale completely. Let's turn these off and just look at that quadratic there. We don't need all this stuff here and here, so I could change the scale and just look at maybe from -5 to 5 on the x-axis. So you can change things like that. And then you click over here and you can still move it around. I'm just holding and dragging my mouse button. So in this chapter we're going to be looking more at exponential, like y equals, and then there'll be a number, and then it'll be to the x power. So you can't do this because that's just squared. That's not going to work. So you're going to use this a to the b button, and you're going to, for your exponent, there'll be an x, a variable. And then you can see what the function will look like here. So the function is going to grow rapidly, very rapidly. Look at, I have my scale set so that I go from -5 to 5, and that's probably pretty good because if I just keep going up, I'll see it goes so fast that you don't even need much beyond that. So if my scale was something like this, it might be pretty silly. It looks like it's just a straight up and down line. So make sure that you change it so that it's a good view of the graph and that we can really see what we need to see so that we can answer questions about what's going on with it. It's a lot easier to answer if you have a good view of your function. Now the next thing that you would want to do is be able to share this. For your assignments, you need to give me the graph. There's two ways to do this. You can take a screenshot. There's a snippet tool that you'll have on your calculator as part of Microsoft Office, I think. Otherwise, maybe you just have a different. Here we go. So the snipping tool, if you can find that, when you take this screenshot of this, include your function bar over here that says what your equation is. That helps me know if you graphed it correctly. And then you can copy this, just Control-C, and then you can paste it into your worksheet. That's one option. Or if you're doing your other work by hand, you can just paste it into a blank Word document. The other method is to use this. I'm in a screenshot now. Okay. I don't want to be snipping anymore. Okay. The other method is right here. It looks like an arrow sending it away. That's share graph. This gives you a link. And you can copy this link and you can paste it into a blank Word document. I don't have a blank Word document open, but you can paste it into a blank Word document and then, or into your worksheet. And then I have the exact same link. Watch this. I'll just open a new window. Here's that link that I copied and pasted. And it's that exact same graph. I even get what you were trying out, so I can see everything that you saw. So it's a really great tool to be able to share that link. You might have noticed that there's other things you can do. You can print, that's basically the screenshot. You can export the image, you can embed it. So there's different options, but really you just need a screenshot or a link to it. Now you can also do this in Sketchpad. There are some advantages to graphing these in Sketchpad. The disadvantage is you have to be logged into the Minnows virtual desktop, which is Citrix. If you don't have any problem with Citrix or with using the virtual desktop, then Sketchpad is great for these graphs because you can save the whole file. You could do all your graphs in one file and attach that. So you go to Graph, Plot New Function, and you don't type in the y equals in Sketchpad. You would just type in the part after that. So I wanted to do 5 to the x power. So this is going to give me the exponent. And then click OK, and it'll graph that same function. There, I can move it around. To change the scale, you can click on this dot and drag it like that. You can also change from a square to a rectangular grid, which gives you an extra dot, so then you can zoom or change the y-axis separately, which might be helpful, especially in exponential functions which grow so fast. So when you're happy with your graph, you don't have to do anything. It'll be saved as it is. To make a new page, you go to File, Document Options, Add Page. I don't need a duplicate, I'll just do a blank page. And now it gives me a page 2. And you can add more pages. You can add as many as you want. And then you can make a new graph on every page. So number 1 already had a graph. Let's say that your next problem had you graphing y equals negative 3 to the x. This is not from a particular assignment. I'm just showing you how to graph. And then you can see that it'll graph that. So you can put a different graph on every page. And then the advantage of Sketchpad is I can just go to File, Save, find the spot on my computer where I want to save this, and then when you want to attach your work, you can just find that file along with whatever else you might have done for your work, and then you can save it from there. So I'm not going to save it right now. So those are 2 different options you have for graphing exponential functions. So experiment with both of them and find the one that you think works better. They both have their advantages and their disadvantages, but both of them are much, much, much easier than graphing these functions by hand, which is what we used to have to do. All right, thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.